What's going on, raza? We're back at it again. Luis aquí with another video. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we are going to be ranking los albums de Eslabon Armado. Ahora, disclaimer. These opinions that I'm about to say in this video, how I rank them, what I think about them, these are my opinions. This is what I think. This is what I hear when I listen to these albums. This is what I feel about these albums. Is this final word? Esa es la última palabra. O sea, is this law por ley que this is the rating for these albums? No, this is my opinion, okay? If you have a different opinion, if you think I ranked them wrong, if you think I missed something, if you feel like I didn't rank them correctly, let me know in the comments. Tell me how you feel. But I mean, this is just personally how I feel and what I think about these albums. Anyways, let's get to the video. Alright, let's rank Eslabon Armado's albums. First off, we have Vibras de Noche. For this album, we're going to have to rate it. We're going to have to rank it a mid-album. To be honest, I expected more out of this album. This album, I remember Eslabon Armado sort of premiered it at Pepe's office. And it had two, three good songs. Dame tu calor and Sube al carro, I believe. It had two good songs, and I think maybe even Romance, which I think is like the last song on the album. It was a letdown. When I saw them play in Pepe's office, I thought, you know what, this looks like a good album. It looks like it's gonna have a lot of good romanticas. This is Eslabon Armado's, I believe, second album, or actually this is their third album. My bad. This is their third album because they did have an album before Veneno Mortal, but this is like their official second album after they popped off, after they went viral. And I honestly thought they were gonna top their second album because it was hella fire. Veneno Mortal, like mis respetos. But this album had like three good songs. So if you ask me, this album is a mid album. Continuando con Navegando y Flotando. This album is actually very slept on. This is the first album that Eslabon Armado released. I don't think a lot of people ever credited it, and I don't think a lot of people ever really listened to it because it's literally the album before they popped off. It's a small album. It only has 5 songs. But to be honest, it's a pretty dope album. Like, for this being like their freshman, like their first album, I gotta give credit where credit is due. For the 5 songs that they released at the time that they were starting, this album is dope. I think the best song on this album is called Nada Me Va Mal. I think it's like a romantica, but it's like a little fast paced. And to be honest, this album, in my personal opinion, this is a sad cut hours. This is official sad cut hours. You could play this album, and you can get a good feel of what Eslabon Armado is and what they became to be, ¿verdad? Veneno Mortal. This is a certified Daddy Chill. As Pedro would say, this is a certified Daddy Chill. Like, this album is perfection. Lo que digo, perfección. Lo que digo, when I'm telling you from start to finish, this album is fire. Like, you could play this album in your car from beginning to end without having to skip any song. And I don't know what drugs they were doing. I don't know who had broken Pedro's heart during that time. I don't know who had hurt him, I don't know what they were doing, but the magic that came out of this album, dude, it is such a dope album. There's so many good songs on this album, and honestly, this is a certified Daddy Chill album, because fuck, like, this is, I don't think, and to be fair, like, I think they shot themselves in the foot, because I just feel like it's almost hard to top this album. Like, I think it's very hard for Eslabon Armado to top this album. Veneno Mortal 2. This was, I guess, Eslabon Armado's attempt to reimagine, to recreate the magic that they made in Veneno Mortal. And honestly, I would want to put it at Daddy Chill, but this album it was a letdown. I kid you not. For me, it was a letdown. The first few songs on the album me dejan como que what, like, como que no entendí muy bien what they were trying to do. I do love this about the album. What I really love about the album is that they incorporated that switch up between tuva and tololoche. There'd be most of the songs have like a little switch up where it's like a parte es tololoche and then another parte es tuva, and then the music comes in and it goes back to tololoche, and then the letra comes in and it becomes tuva. Personally, when grupos do that, I appreciate it because those little switch ups give music like a new, it gives it a twist. So I appreciate that for sure. Yeah, like the first 6 songs, for me personalmente, the first 6 songs aren't good. But after the 7th one, which I believe is Una Peda, this album like kicks off. It's really good. I think the single song that like really defines this album for me that I really like is La Diabla. La Diabla is literally the song off the album that just it's a staple of the album. So for me, I'm gonna have to give this better than mid. I think it's a sad cut hours. Now, the worst album that Eslabon Armado has, in my personal opinion, has to be Cortavenas. For me, this album is the worst album, respectfully, that Eslabon Armado has, just because it has 24 songs. It has 24 fucking songs on the album, and out of the album, you have like at the most 3-4 songs on the album that are good. The only thing that really saved this album is Jugastes y Sufrí with Danny Lux, and TikTok. TikTok with that song and all the freaking TikToks, all the memes that came out of that one song, like kind of lets you want to check the album. But if you listen to the album, like you have to like literally go through 24 songs and try to find something that's good. And it's hard because it's 24 fucking songs, and at least for me, not a lot of them hit. Not a lot of the songs hit in this album. I les aplaudo, I applaud them for trying new things, because I think in this album they le metieron guitarra eléctrica. They did electric guitar in this album, so I applaud them for that. But 24 songs and like at the most 3 or 4 are good, like that's, to me personally, that's not good. I think what would have been better is if they would have switched it up and released 2 albums, uno de 12, and another one de 12, and kind of like try to like mess around with the songs and find like something, because it's just a mess of noise. Like there's just a lot of songs that don't really stand out. It's just it feels like a throwaway song. Like you just throw that in there so that there's music in the album, but like it just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit. So for me, this one, it almost would basically be turn it off, but because of Jugastes y Sufrí, because it has the song Soy Tóxico, which is decent, and because it has like Me Matas, which is I think the best song that has guitarra eléctrica on this album, I guess I'd leave it at what. And the last album that we have here called Nostalgia, this is their most recent album. This would have to be a mid album. It's a good album. It's better than Cortavenas, because this is, I think, the album right after Cortavenas. And it has to be a mid album just because it has good features. It has Junior H, it has Fuerza Régida, it has Solo with R, I believe is the artist that Pedro ended up collabing with. It has a lot of good features, a lot of really good features. And the features are really dope. They're good songs. But yeah, it's not Veneno Mortal. It really isn't. And the fact that you had to throw in a lot of features, for me, the fact that you had to throw in a lot of features just for this album to be good, just for this album to have standout songs, just for you to maybe do music videos with those artists, like it's a lot of features. This album is a lot of features. It's not really a lot of originales by themselves. They went back to their roots which was just guitarras acústicas with a bass. There's really no tuba in this album. There's no tololoche. And they're sort of like going back to that estilo that they had originally, which is dope, but it's just not something that really stands out. I don't think there's going to be a lot of songs from this album that people are going to be like using on their TikToks or on their Instagram, or having grupos play at their fiestas or whatever, or even bumping in their car for that matter. I think a lot of people would just skip this album. So for that reason alone, I believe this is a mid album. So those are my ratings for ESLABON Armados albums. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Let me know if you would have rated them something differently. Let me know if there's a song I missed, if there's an album I missed. All of that, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Hasta la próxima.